Hello, how you all doing? Welcome back to the Vizeh YouTube channel. Today, we're talking football. And I just feel like talking about this specific football club because I feel like a lot of people, you know what? I'm a bit annoyed by some people talking about this team in the last couple of weeks because I feel like they are actually onto something which I think is something good. This isn't a video about me going into a football team or going into anything actually. I'm going to give Arsenal its credit. Of course, obviously, I'm a Burnley fan, so I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm not a top 6 fan, so I have no bias towards Arsenal. Growing up watching Arsenal, born in 98, so I'm 23. So, I was raised really watching them in 05, 06, 07. I couldn't really remember the Invincibles, sadly, but the years after that, especially in the last year at Highbury, when they were wearing that, like, dark, almost a burgundy, the Arsenal gold in the last year at Highbury, I remember that really well. So, everyone were Arsenal's, like, second, third team, or a team that they liked. Like, everyone always enjoyed watching an Arsenal game. And of course, in the last 10 years, it's really gone very, very far off from what the Arsenal that I grew up watching, and I'm just a normal fan that just watched football. So I can't imagine the annoyance and the pain that it must be to be an Arsenal fan raised watching that kind of football in that era, and now going into the banter era that we've seen in the last couple of years. And in the last few months, I've been seeing a few things which I've been liking and I want to talk about. Tell me your thoughts down below in the comments. Let's hit 1,500 likes, and also, if you're new, hit that subscribe button. And let's give a shout out to our sponsor. The cheapest and most reliable coins on the market. Go down to u7buy.com. Link is down below in description. And make sure to use code Vizeh at checkout for 5% off. So of course, we're currently on the Premier League website and we're looking at Arsenal's page here. And let's just have a quick little look here at the league table, because this is where people judge a football team. They judge you on the league table. And right now, Arsenal are currently 7th. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think if you ask to most Arsenal fans at the start of this year, would you take 7th in December? I'm pretty sure a large chunk of people would say that they'd be okay with it. Not happy, but I think most would say that, you know what, they wouldn't be too unhappy if they were 7th at this time of the year. Because keep in mind, they are only 4 points off being in top 4. And let's look at their form this year. At a very poor start, you had Brentford away 2-0. Of course, we've seen that Brentford are a decent side this year on their day. Of course, drawing to Liverpool at home, so there's no real shame in that, in my opinion. Then losing to Chelsea, who are top of the league, or they were. Now they're just obvious title challengers, and they are way ahead of where their team are at in their team cycle than what Arsenal are right now. And then City, 5-0. Yes, it's a drabbing, but City is City, and if you just get them on their wrong day, then anything will happen. And also, they have a red card. From then, you can see a lot of greens, and they were beating teams and getting draws in games that usually they would have a hiccup on. I saw a video the other day by Vizeh, and he went absolutely mad at Arsenal. And I see Vizeh as I love Vizeh to bits. I always enjoy watching him. I think that his thoughts on football are really, really delicate, and he's got a good outlook on things, and he doesn't make any rash opinions. And from what I saw after the Everton game, I thought was a bit harsh on how I see Arsenal right now in this current team cycle of where they are at. Of course, in these winter games, they beat Norwich, okay, beat Burnley, okay, beat Spurs, a Derby Day victory, 3-1, emphatic, a point away at Brighton, which I believe that game they should have lost, a point at home to Palace, which they also could have lost a 90-minute equaliser by Lacazette. And then they beat Villa, who they lost to last year at home, very badly. I think it's 3-0. Then they beat Leicester away. Again, another game that they usually always have a hiccup on. And then they beat Watford, which Watford has a bad record of having a few little shock results against Arsenal. Maybe not even a shock. And then they've lost to Liverpool, which Liverpool away at Anfield, okay, people saw that as, okay, let's see how good Arsenal really are. And they lost quite badly. And again, I don't think there's any shame in that, because I'll explain later on. And then they beat Newcastle at home, nice and easy, because they're low down the table. Then they lost to United 3-2. It was a very well-fought game, and Ronaldo was a difference. And then they lost to Everton 2-1. And they lost because of a screamer by Demarai Gray in the 90th minute. And did they play amazing that game? They didn't play amazing. But from what Arsenal are this year, I think Arsenal fans should be pleased of how how well they're doing this year. Let's look at the team that went out against Liverpool, or United, right? Let's look at the lineups here. So in this game against Liverpool, they played a 4-4-1-1. It says here, Ramsdale in goal, who has been shown to be one of the best goalkeepers, form-wise at least this season. I don't think anyone can deny that. I think there's been a lot of talk about him being like the best keeper in the league already. No, he's not best keeper in the league, but he can definitely have potential, and because of how young he is, he's solid enough to be their number one for years upon years to come. Whether, especially how good a start is, I wouldn't be surprised if he's now the number one for a long time, and that is a massive important part. That is a solid start to your foundations, and then that is a brand new signing this year. To be fair, I didn't think he'd be anywhere near as good as what he's done and his impact on the team, but he clearly has, not just by his shot stopping, but also his distribution as well. And then you look at their back four. This back four against Liverpool, this back four is a very young team, inexperienced back four, and this is my main point. This Arsenal team, it is a project. It's a project of taking a bunch of young players which can be built into a system which has some potential to work together and to actually move forward the club, which in my opinion it's doing. I think they've done a fantastic piece of business in the summer by bringing in a bunch of young players which can be that next level and can help out the team for the next 3, 4, 5 years. From previously made these weird signings that felt like it was only in mind for the first like 12 months, and then after that thinking, okay, I don't know what to do with them now, like a David Luiz or the Mari guy. I'll go into the transfers, but look at the rest of the team. So we got Ben White, which I think is a fantastic signing. Again, a solidified player that will get better. I think is already good now. Not the best, but he can get better and will be hopefully a big part of the team for the next 4, 5, 6 years, as he can do that. Gabriel is a solid enough mentor to him that he's got a bit of enough experience, but can also get better himself. Tomiyasu has been quite good from what I've seen. And then Tavares is definitely a player that has got a lot to learn. Still a bit raw. He still makes a few mistakes, but this is still a young back four. And then look at the rest of it. Partey has by no means been the best that he definitely can be in his first year and a half at Arsenal. And can he get better? I think he can, but it has been a bit underwhelming with Saka, one of the best, top 5 best young talents in the league right now, especially attackers. Like, he is a young kid that has pretty much took Arsenal on his shoulders in the last 2 years, year and a half. It's incredible. Emil Smith-Rowe has impressed me. Do I think he's amazing? I don't think he's unbelievable. He's not on the level of Saka, for me personally, but he's still a great young player that can get better. Lokonga as well, same thing, great young player that can get better, getting an opportunity. And then Lacazette and Aubameyang, these are the two which I feel like will have to slowly get given a door in the next 6 to 12 months, because these two, that is the example of the old Arsenal. And then you look at the bench and you see some more great young players. You see Odegaard, okay, you see Gabriel Martinelli. You even see the likes of Maitland-Niles can still do a decent job. A great left back in Kieran Tierney as well. He's of course better than Tavares in my opinion. And then there's Pepe, which for some reason this is like the main focal point that everyone talks about with Arsenal, is Nicolas Pepe and why is he not playing? And that's probably because he likes Smith-Rowe and Saka a lot more than Pepe. Playing academy prospects like Eddie Nketiah as well, I think it's really smart what they're doing. And for Arsenal fans to still think that they are beyond that right now, I think is being just a bit foolish. People compare it to where Chelsea was when they had the transfer ban, and they were playing like Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, and Reece James, and all these kind of younger players that usually wouldn't have been given an opportunity if they didn't have a transfer ban. But I think it's unfair to compare that, because if you compare the players that were still there at Chelsea at the time that you can compare to, it's not the same. It's not the same. This was the first game of that season with Manchester United destroying Chelsea 4-0. This was the first game of the year that they couldn't get any more players, in, because they had a transfer embargo, and they played a few more young players that usually wouldn't. In this team, they had Tammy Abraham, they had Ross Barkley, they had Mason Mount, which at the time, Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham weren't, solidified as what they're known now. They had Kennedy on the bench, Tomori, but look at the players that's still there at the time. They had Azpilicueta, they had the likes of Kovacic and Pedro in there. On the bench, they had the likes of N'Golo Kante, Olivier Giroud. these players, this team, Jorginho's there as well, don't forget about him. It's unfair to compare this Chelsea team with Arsenal. I'm saying that, oh, well, they both had young teams and compare the two. I don't think that's really comparable. In my opinion, Arsenal needs a complete reset. And the best way to do that is to just let go of all the dead wood, which they are started to do, and they've still got more to get rid of, like sort of Xhaka, especially Lacazette. I think that he's got to go at this stage because he's just kind of wasting like a shirt there. He's not got it in him anymore. And of course, there's a lot of claims on Aubameyang saying that he's got to go now because he clearly doesn't have his head or heart in the game still, because he is a fantastic player and he should still be their main player. You know, he got a new contract last year, and maybe that's a big reason of why he's no longer as inspired, as motivated to really continue, you know, furthering himself, because he has been poor in low form, and it's only so long that you can say, right, do you actually care? Because social media has been a big factor of why Arsenal are the way they are, and of course how players are on social media. Aubameyang, a very big example, you know, flexing all these Lamborghinis and flexing all these cars and everything else. It's not what fans want to see. They want to see you working hard and just staying humble, and just, if you are going to show off, give yourself a goddamn good reason to show off, okay? Not beating Burnley 1-0 away from home. No, show off when you get a trophy, make it to a final, beat a big team at the very least, you know. Like you see these guys tweet out about the fact that, oh, we're back, oh, get in, oh, Gunners and whatever else. And it's like, you've beat, like, Watford. You know what I mean? You beat Newcastle. And I don't think Arsenal should not be beating the likes of Chelsea, City, Liverpool. Most teams in the country shouldn't be beating them. Now, can you compete and try to get an upset? Yes, I get that. But if you don't beat them, is that a massive disgrace? No, definitely not with this team. So I think there should be more respect on Arteta, and I think that he should be getting more time. But I'm seeing the business that they're doing, and in this window, look at that. You know, Ben White, 23, Odegaard, 22, Ramsdale, 22, 23, Tomiyasu, 22, Lokonga, 21, Tavares, 21, and then the players that they've also still got on loan, Saliba, Guendouzi, Torreira, and that's a massive thing for itself, and that's why people get so worked up about the kind of politics of Arsenal, of why are these players not playing, why is Pepe not playing more, why is Saliba still not being given a chance, and there's kind of a weird kind of underlying part of the club that people are thinking, oh, there's still a problem there because this player isn't getting more game time, and that could be one thing or the other. You know, in the summer, they let go the likes of Danny Cabellos, in the summer, they let go the likes of David Luiz, of Cabellos, and the year before that, you can see some more. But compare this to last year, the year before that, and you can see that it is a big difference. Why is Pablo Mari there? That makes no difference to me. Willian on a free transfer. That made absolutely zero sense of why you bring him on loan. It is baffling. And of course, thank God he's gone now for their mental health, because that is just stupid. Gabriel is a nice piece of business. 22. Partey as well. That was, in my opinion, a nice piece of business, and it should be doing better. Deadwood going out your Kolasinac, Mkhitaryan, Mustafi, Ozil, Socrates. In my opinion, for Arsenal this year is to try to get into Europe. You know, if it's in Europa League, you know, go for that. They have to reset. I think they're on the way to resetting, and I think that they are doing decent this year considering the teams that they have. They are beating the teams that they should be beating. Maybe have a hiccup or two, but that's expected. And I mean, maybe this could all backfire, and we'll look at the next few games. The next few games is Southampton at home, West Ham at home, Leeds away, Norwich away, Wolves at home, and then they got City, Spurs, back-to-back in January. This winter period, this December, is very, very kind, to be fair, to Arsenal. And I actually expect them to get, you know, some decent wins there. Maybe have one loss, you know, one hiccup, but it's still a young team. That will happen. So that's my thoughts about Arsenal. Tell me your thoughts down below. Arsenal fans this year, they should be seen as not a bye season, but, you know, try and do well in the cup, which I think you guys are. They're in a Carabao Cup quarterfinal against Sunderland at home, so they should beat them. And they're in a semi-final of a cup. hopefully, and then they can actually get into a final. In my opinion, getting to a final or challenging for some silverware in a cup and getting into Europe, you know, 6th, 5th, I don't think they get top 4. They shouldn't expect to be top 4. If you think that you should be, then you're being very unrealistic. I think that's a great year for Arsenal. And the next year, then there'll be a bit more pressure, bring in 1 or 2 more names to add to the young team, and then let go some more deadwood, and I think they're doing good. So that's my thoughts. Respect Arteta, keep him in job, trust the process. And I'm actually not saying that as to piss fans off. I actually see some work being done here, and I'm seeing them go and take steps in the right direction, in my opinion. So give me your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll see you guys next time for another video. And yeah, Arsenal fans, talk to me. I'll see you later on. Peace out.